We got how 50 Cent ended Ja Rule's career. Check it out.
Is sponsored by Skillshare.
Trapple Ross
Beef versus Ja Rule. Loose change versus loose pockets. It's one of the most iconic beefs in rap history, and the events surrounding it have been analysed by countless rap YouTubers and beef DVDs. 50 Cent and Ja Rule's clash seemed to begin with Ja Rule as the chart-topping titan taking on the scrappy newcomer of 50 Cent. But it ended with 50 Cent becoming one of the biggest phenomenons hip-hop has ever seen, and Ja Rule the punchline of a bad joke about gyros. But today, we're going to do things a little bit differently and take a closer look at this beef from a slightly different angle that hasn't been explored quite enough. And that's Ja Rule's perspective. In today's video, we're going to be focusing solely on the beef that Ja Rule had specifically with 50 Cent and Eminem.
Bro, this is the only rap beef that I have no clue what happened, bro. Like, I don't know why they started beefing, why they don't like each other, what was any of the, I haven't heard any of the diss tracks. Won't be listening to them, but yeah.
The story of this beef has been told time and time again, with 50 Cent as the central protagonist, the David fighting against Goliaths on all fronts. Murder Inc., the Supreme Team, Ja Rule, the game. 50 Cent has had more beef than most, and generally, these stories are spun with him being the hero, outmaneuvering everyone at every turn. And it's no surprise that 50 Cent wins beefs left, right, and center, because we know that 50 Cent meticulously studied Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Hell, 50 Cent got so powerful after reading the 48 Laws of Power that he actually managed to strong-arm the author of the book into giving him his very own rule, with Robert Greene going on to co-author the sequel to the 48 Laws, the 50th Law, with 50 himself. And if there's one thing that 50 Cent picked up with his meticulous studying of power dynamics, it's that in order to win, you must crush your enemy completely. And when it came to Ja Rule, 50 Cent had a grudge so deep that even to this day, over 20 years later, he can't help but take any opportunity to publicly shit on Ja Rule. Because despite the fact that this beef was so incredibly devastating to Ja Rule in his career, no matter how much time passes, no matter how much the beef cools down, 50 and Ja just can't help but go at each other's necks, no matter what. This is a beef that runs so deep that both parties have said that it will be frying until they're both dead. But so many questions remain. Was what happened to Ja Rule's career really fair? Who was really responsible for Ja Rule's career going down the toilet? And why, after over 20 years, do 50 Cent and Ja Rule refuse to let this beef go? Basically, today, in the words of the great Dave Chappelle,
"Could somebody please find Ja Rule, get hold of this motherfucker so I can make sense of all this."
Bro, I remember this joke. Dave Chappelle was like, why the hell do we care about Ja Rule's opinion in this time and moment? Bro, that's funny. Something like that.
The story goes, the inciting incident for this entire beef was Ja Rule getting robbed by an old friend who had recently come out of jail. This Ja Rule jump-in was apparently the result of a messy love triangle where the man holding the gun on Ja had accused him of smashing his girl while he was in the joint and taxing Ja Rule's chain as revenge.
He was fucking my girl while I was up north. This, that, and the third. He proceeds to say, yo, give me your chain. Nothing to do with music, hip-hop, rap, none of that.
Ja Rule, unhappy about being robbed like a little bitch, calls up his buddy, local New York tough guy, Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who flexes his power in the streets and manages to get Ja's chain back within 20 minutes.
Preem was like, yo, Rule, hold on, let me...
Wait, hold up. Somebody got his chain back in 20 minutes. What?
I'm saying, Preem calls me back 15, 20 minutes later, he's like, I got your chain. He just came back on the block. I took your chain.
Nah, bro. Bro is a part of your chain getting snatched. 20 minutes. You got backdoor, Ja Rule.
Boom, I got your chain.
Now, this situation essentially had nothing to do with 50 Cent. But story goes, one night out in New York, Ja Rule spotted 50 Cent hanging out with the very guy who had taken his chain.
A friend of mine's robbed Ja Rule. He see me kicking it with the nigga that robbed him, and he feel like, oh shit, I shouldn't speak to this dude.
If you ask 50, this is when Ja Rule started having a problem with him. And if you ask Ja Rule, this is where 50 Cent decided to use this association to start beefing with Ja Rule in an effort to kickstart his budding rap career.
50 used that as his in to have something to say about me. You feel what I'm saying? But it had nothing to do with him.
But there's something important you got to keep in mind. This is 1999, and at this point, Ja Rule was a somebody, 50 Cent was a nobody. In the 90s, Ja Rule had linked up with DJ turned record exec Irv Gotti, another friend of New York street legend Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who had been given the Murder Inc. record label as an imprint underneath Def Jam Records. Irv placed Ja Rule as the flagship artist on Murder Inc. Records, with Ja's career truly taking off for the first time after he wrote and featured on Jay-Z's 1998 single Can I Get Her, at this time rapping simply under the name Ja. Can I Get Her hit 19 on Billboard Billboard and became Jay-Z's biggest song at the time. This was followed by Ja Rule's successful solo hit Holla Holla, which went 35 on Billboard, with this living on Ja Rule's debut studio album Veni Veti Vici, which hit 3 on Billboard and sold 184K copies first week. Another track that was on this project was the street anthem Murder for Life featuring Memphis Bleek, where Ja Rule famously said on the hook, "It's murder for life." So in response to this song and in an effort to pick up some clout by getting in a beef with Ja Rule, 50 Cent records his response song Life's on the Line, which is intended to live on his debut album Power of the Dollar. And on that track, 50 Cent flips the lyrics from Ja Rule's Murder for Life, saying "Murder, I don't believe you," essentially going at Ja Rule and his crew Murder Inc., saying that they're a bunch of phonies. And from here, 50 Cent begins to appear in small-time media appearances saying that he is the guy coming for Ja Rule.
50 Cent, nigga, that's the nigga that they said Ja Rule about. That's the nigga that they said Ja Rule.
Around this time, Ja begins to publicly acknowledge 50, but for no more than simply being on his dick and fishing for clout.
What's up with this 50 Cent shit?
Wait, if you were a patient at any Illinois...
Bro, it's always, why do... This dude said phonies. What? Well, why do people that be like at the top always try to like love bro to like the up and comer, bro? That's so weird, bro. It's always been weird to me, bro.
Alright, it's simple and plain. You know, the nigga, he's on my dick and shit. And then, you got them clowns that come out and want to fucking say something about you to try to boost their shit or whatever.
But from here, 50 Cent doubles down on the disrespect and begins to clap back in interviews, reiterating that Ja Rule is a fraud and he can't put down 50 street credentials.
You know what I'm saying? I had a Land Cruiser Vengeance 19.
Bro, 50 Cent face was so fat. I don't know why, but that was funny.
The street hustle, but you know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't never had nothing before rap.
Now, with all of this talking in the streets, eventually this tension comes to a head. And when 50 and Ja Rule are both booked to play the same venue in Atlanta, they end up running into each other and having a confrontation at a hotel. Story goes, this was a tense verbal back and forth, with Ja telling 50 he was pissed about that diss song. But apparently during this confrontation, Ja Rule was holding a prop baseball bat that he apparently trotted out on stage. At a certain point, 50 Cent didn't like how aggressive Ja Rule was getting with that bat in his hands, and before he could use it, 50 Cent decided to be proactive, sucker punching Ja Rule in his stupid face. A scuffle breaks out between their respective crews and everybody immediately scatters.
I see him in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It's, around my neck or whatever. I'm holding the bat. Got mad and I started screaming at him and telling him that, he was a bitch and this, that, and the third. And so he swings at me. So now we start tussling. Now, here's where the stories diverge. If you listen to Ja Rule...
Bro, y'all remember when everybody used to wear Beats and stuff? Dang, what happened to Beats? What did happen to Beats? I feel like Apple ruined them. When they did the Apple and Beats by Drake collab, it ruined it.
Got me. So now we start tussling.
Now, here's where the stories diverge. If you listen to Ja Rule, 50 Cent started clout chasing after this fight, telling everybody that he snatched Ja's chain.
I knocked him out, took his chain.
Ja denies this. Meanwhile, other people say Ja and 50 both dropped chains during the scuffle, with suggestions that 50's crew had indeed picked up Ja's chain. But regardless of the mythical stolen chain, it wouldn't take too long before these two titans of toxicity ran into each other again. Next up, in March 2000, when Ja Rule and his Murder Inc. crew got word that 50 Cent was recording at the Hit Factory studio in New York. Upon getting word of 50's location, apparently Ja and the Murder Inc. crew rushed into 50's studio session, at which point 50 Cent ends up getting stabbed by Murder Inc. affiliate Black Child, something which he later downplays.
It's like 5 of us and 5 of them, and niggas is getting it on and fighting and bong. Some way, somehow, the lights got hit off. But I felt the gap was in the area and niggas was reaching for it. Know what I mean? And I wasn't letting nobody get to their gun to pop me. Know what I mean? So I started poking niggas straight up and down.
Then I didn't even go to the hospital. The little scratch I had only was with 3 stitches. Yeah, you're back. I didn't go to I went home.
Thing is, 50 Cent wasn't the only person to get stabbed in this incident. Apparently, other, less gangster, more professional individuals were in the studio working on music with G-Unit and ended up getting injured. And one of the non-G-Unit, non-Gs ends up filing a police report, telling the feds what went down, leading to Black Child being arrested for the stabbings. As a result, the NYPD placed an order of protection on anybody that was involved in the incident, forcing Murder Inc. to stay away from anybody named, including 50 Cent. Now, this document would later become an integral part of the Ja Rule vs. 50 beef, as Ja Rule and others would endlessly trot out this document as
they trying to say that 50 was a snitch or 50 was working with the police.
Supposed proof that 50 Cent had snitched against them. But regardless of the issues with Ja Rule and Murder Inc., things would soon get more and more dangerous for 50 Cent in these streets.
Bro, seeing how ignorant and like how dumb people were back in the day, bro. I'm surprised that this didn't like halt 50 Cent's career or just stop it.
You see, at this point, 50 Cent was beginning to build up a buzz in the hood musically, having recently dropped the track How to Rob with the Mad Rapper in mid-1999. This tongue-in-cheek street track basically saw 50 Cent jokingly naming numerous rappers in the industry by name and saying that he was going to rob them. This included Puff Daddy. 50 Cent said he was going to kidnap Kim Porter and hold her for ransom. He threatened to stick up Slick Rick with a blick. He mocked ODB from the Wu-Tang Clan for being so broke he wouldn't even be worth robbing. Master P, Will Smith, and Timbaland all got tarted in a 3-for-1 stick-up sale. DMX was getting all the smoke, not crack smoke for once. Ray, Ghost, and RZA from Wu-Tang got their rings snatched. Cannabis got smoked literally and metaphorically. And even Juvenile got robbed of his Cash Money piece and gold teeth because Bofty's out here moving like the street tooth fairy. Well, naturally, dissing the entire rap game and saying that you're gonna rob them ended up getting 50 Cent a decent amount of clout. And story goes, not long after this song, behind the scenes, some people in the industry begun to get upset. The most notable response that came for 50 was from Jay-Z. After 50 said on How to Rob that he would put 4 bullets in Jay-Z's Bentley door, Jay-Z jumped on wax a few months later with the iconic line from the song It's Hot saying, "Go against Jigga, your ass is dense. I'm about $1, what the fuck is 50 cents?" By the year 2000, 50 Cent clearly had a taste for gaining clout by airing out people's dirty laundry. And after How to Rob, he decided to truly die trying to get rich. Dropping a new song, this time naming a bunch of gangsters that he knows from the streets of New York by name. Specifically, our old chum Kenneth Supreme McGriff, that same chap who had got Ja Rule's chain back right at the start of this story. So in early 2000, 50 Cent's song Ghetto Quran begins to circulate in the streets of New York, at which point the streets begin to turn on 50. In fact, Ja Rule later said in his autobiography Unruly that this was the moment that word got out that 50 was apparently a snitch, and from this point on he was in danger in these streets. Ja Rule also said that it was around this time that Supreme actively took steps to blacklist 50 Cent from the music industry. And eventually, a hitter was dispatched, allegedly by the Supreme team, to try and blacklist 50 Cent from life. And on May 24th, 2000, 50 Cent is famous.
This is when he gets shot.
Shot 9 times outside of his grandmother's house, but miraculously survives. Fortunately, 50 Cent didn't die, but he was seriously injured and out of action for a long period of time. Laid up in a hospital bed, barely alive, and blacklisted from the rap game. 50 would be out of action for some time with nothing to do but stew in a rage and get hungrier and hungrier for revenge on those who wronged him. But meanwhile, whilst 50 Cent is at rock bottom, with his biggest op out of the picture, Ja Rule is on fire and goes on the chart run of a lifetime. He dropped his second album in October 2000, Rule 336. The album has a radio-friendly mainstream angle and is a runaway success for Ja Rule, landing at #1 and selling 276,000 copies in the first week of release. And the project had numerous hit singles, including Put It On Me that went #8 on the charts and landed a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group. Also in 2000,
I want to hit it real quick. I want to hit her real quick. She want to put that pussy on me, put it on, gonna put it on me. That's the only put it on me I know. I knew that song. I just never really heard.
But Inc. dropped the Murderers album. On the track When Shit Gets Ugly, Ja Rule dissed 50 Cent, calling him loose change, bars which Ja Rule also echoed on his 99 Rap City freestyle.
I didn't ask him to find that, but he did, and it changed the whole lot. I used to treat research like a warm-up. Let me just gather some.
You loose change, I head in the whip, probably from your chick, cause she's.
Then in the year 2001, whilst 50 Cent is still lying low, recovering and recording, Ja Rule drops his third album, Pain Is Love. This album was also a huge success, landing at #1 on Billboard and
that's an album right there.
bagging a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Album, as well as spawning 2 #1 singles. The murder version of I'm Real with J-Lo and Always on Time with Ashanti. And by the time we get to the year 2002, Ja Rule was everywhere. And 50 Cent was nowhere, but in the shadows, 50 Cent was lurking, sharpening his pen and his sword, and getting ready to strike, taking down Ja Rule in one of the biggest reversals of fortune the rap game has ever seen.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Shout out Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare loves the activity that in turn out add to free trial of Skillshare.
I might fuck around and dislike the video just because of this bullshit, bro. Like, fuck is wrong with buddy ass.
After getting blacklisted from the rap game, 50 Cent literally could not find a studio to record in. In fact, 50 Cent had been blacklisted by the rap game so hard that he had to go all the way to Canada just to get studio time, where he recorded dozens of songs and planned his comeback. 50's first comeback song after getting shot is the understandably titled track, Fuck You. This appeared on his Guess Who's Back mixtape, made up of both old and new songs which 50 distributed himself. Clearly 50 wasn't worried about his ops on this track, as he directly discusses the shooting and even speculates who was responsible by name. Meanwhile, on other tracks on the project, 50 Cent directly confronts Ja Rule and the crew who stabbed him in the studio, saying that he'll get them eventually and they should have killed him. Thing is, as far as Ja Rule and Supreme were concerned, 50 was done at this point. But 50's comeback release didn't immediately make a huge splash, and certainly didn't give Ja Rule any cause for concern initially. However, the one thing that Ja Rule wasn't banking on was somebody else in the industry finding 50 Cent's tape and liking it. And what do you know, in 2002, 50
That man, the white nigga from Detroit. Ah, man, 8 Mile Demon.
Cent's lawyer sent a copy of Guess Who's Back to Eminem.
Wait, his lawyer?
And what do you know, in 2002, 50 Cent's lawyer sent a copy of Guess Who's Back to Eminem.
50 Cent's lawyer sent the... Why is 50 Cent's lawyer... Why do 50 Cent's lawyer know Eminem, bro?
Eminem's manager, Paul Rosenberg, apparently blown away...
Oh! His manager. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But why does 50 Cent lawyer have his mixtape?
By 50 Cent's work, M immediately flies him out to LA to work with him and Dr. Dre. And well, the rest is history, as they say. Because soon after this trip, 50 Cent is signed to Eminem and Dr. Dre in a $1 million deal that brought him into the Interscope Shady Records team. And from here, 50 Cent would get heavily mentored by both Dr. Dre and Eminem, taking his sound to the next level and helping him craft his masterpiece of a debut album. Now, apparently, as part of this mentorship, Eminem and Dr. Dre sat 50 Cent down for a man-to-man talk, saying that he should stay focused and avoid beefing Ja Rule, something M revealed years later on the track Like Toy Soldiers. And to be fair, things seemed all good initially. Fans enjoyed 50 Cent's latest 50 Cent is the Future mixtape that released in June, and then in August, fresh off the Shady Records deal, 50 Cent drops his follow-up mixtape No Mercy, No Fear. And this project features 50's breakout track Wankster, the now legendary 50 Cent song all about fake gangsters who say they're about that life but have never popped none. The track itself doesn't mention Ja Rule by name, but ever since its release, it's been pretty widely considered as a subliminal diss track aimed squarely at Ja Rule's head. 50 Cent's never outright admitted this, simply saying that the song is about fake gangsters, but since other people have said Ja Rule fits the bill, Ja Rule is indeed a wankster. And let's be real, right? Once 50 Cent put together a music video for this track, the opening scene features a kid opening up a wankster doll who is literally wearing the exact same black outfit and long chain guitar pendant as Ja Rule wore in this Rap City freestyle. So naturally, Wankster had Ja Rule big old mad. So in October of 2002, Murder Inc. ended up covering The Source magazine, and Ja was all in his feelings, sending warning shots to Dr. Dre and Eminem, basically saying they can both get it, and Ja's gonna take down their company if 50 Cent starts dissing him. But if that wasn't enough, Ja Rule and Irv Gotti went on Hot 97 to continue their onslaught, exposing 50 Cent to the world in what must be true crime's very first gangland-style restraining order reveal, telling everyone that 50 Cent got stabbed at the Hit Factory and that an order of protection was filed afterwards, spinning it as if 50 Cent was a full-blown snitch who had specifically applied for a restraining order against Ja Rule and Irv Gotti.
I'm not worried about these wanksters. Posing to be gangsters, informants,
tension, drama, whatever. Just handle your business, man.
Snitches. And what I'm holding in my hand, I'm gonna leave with you, man, is a order of protection. An order of protection for Irving Lorenzo to stay away from Curtis Jackson. That's 50, y'all. AKA 50, AKA 50, AKA informant, AKA I'm telling. I never went to jail. First time I ever went to jail was because we whipped his ass and and he went and felt the need to inform the cop.
But it wasn't just about the restraining order. Ja went further in airing out the dirty laundry, openly discussing and laughing about 50 Cent getting stabbed at the Hit Factory.
That little incident we had at the Hit Factory, he tells you about it.
A little stabbing with the butter knife.
It was a little altercation. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was nothing big. It was just a little scuffle.
It
was nothing big.
Yes, sir.
But he felt the need, you know, to go to the cops and press charges. Press charges. Look, the opponent is further informed by Mr. Jackson that as a result of the above described conduct, informant suffered lacerations. Informant, y'all. Informant suffered.
Now, all of this coordinated hating apparently caused 50 Cent to go straight loco and diss Ja Rule hard on wax, which apparently Eminem and Dr. Dre were okay with at this point. As we later learned from the lyrics on Eminem's Like Toy Soldiers, it was all the public talk about stabbing 50 Cent that went over the line. In fact, Eminem's support went far beyond just letting 50 Cent diss Ja Rule. M actually poured gas on the fire by placing numerous 50 Cent tracks, including Wankster, onto the hugely successful soundtrack album for his movie 8 Mile, as well as around this time commissioning that high-budget Wankster music video.
What's up, this is 50 Cent. It's the behind the scenes right here. We're doing a video shoot for Wankster. It's off the 8 Mile soundtrack. It's crazy. Eminem, Dr. Dre, City Aftermath, rap juggernauts, you heard me? Yeah. See, I know I'm starting to get big now when you got it behind the scenes at your video shoot, because my last video shoot was nobody there but me.
So, 50 Cent is still making moves in these streets. The following month, 50 drops his God's Plan mixtape, which featured the track Catch Me in the Hood, echoing those same sentiments of Wankster. Not mentioning Ja Rule by name, but going at an unnamed op on the basis they're not a real gangster, but 50 is. That project was followed up in January 2003 with G-Unit's Automatic Gunfire mixtape. That project had numerous diss tracks and skits going at Ja Rule.
If you liked the Ja Rule Duets album, you'll flip when you hear his new album, Ja Rule Duets 2. I could kiss you, baby, baby. And if you order now, you'll get this special bonus track. Put it on me. Sing it with myself. Yeah. Holla.
Ja Rule is so hot right now, everybody wants to record with him.
This is Eminem encoded, bro. I don't.
Or at least re-record with him. On Duets 3, you'll get this.
Whenever. What you say? To all my people, we be living it up. Hey.
But of course, the biggest put down on Ja Rule and the Murder Inc. crew was the track I Smell Pussy, calling out every member of Murder Inc. for smelling like a fishmongers at closing time one by one. Also on that mixtape was the track Bang Bang, accusing Ja Rule of coming out with the whole Order of Protection reveal purely to plug his own album release. And then of course there was the track 8 More Miles, where 50 imagines just how mad Ja must be at the fact that the hood loves Fiddy more than Ja. At this point, 50 had firmly put the boot into Ja Rule, but at this point he was also still an underground artist just bubbling up in the rap game. Thing is, little did Ja Rule know that around the corner was a perfect storm. A once-in-a-lifetime chain of events that would see 50 Cent catapulted to the top of the rap game and Ja Rule consigned to the scrap heap, unable to even release music or respond to 50's disses. In fact, I would wager that everything went downhill from the very moment that Ja Rule heard those words, "Go Shardy, it's your..."
Damn. Go Shardy, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. The rise of 50 Cent.
You know, the Wankster record, it was a snazzy tune, but you know, it was nothing. We were so heavy making these big records. People start mumbling to me, yo, he's with DRE. So he said, all right, let's listen. Let's listen to it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh God, fucking Dre. So I'm like, all right, the beat is fucking nuts. He may have one, but let's see if he connected the dots lyrically. He may have not connected the dots lyrically. You can find me in the. I'm like,
is it?
I turned to Rule and everyone in the office, and I said, yo, buckle up. We have a major problem.
This guy's up.
Yes, in January 2003, Ja Rule, Irv Gotti, and the entire Murder Inc. crew were lining up to swallow the largest L in rap game history. Not only was 50 Cent In Da Club the hottest rap song to ever come out, landing at #1 on Billboard and grabbing 2 Grammy nominations, but also in January 2003, the feds raided the Murder Inc. offices in an attempt to connect them to our old gangster buddy from New York, Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who'd also been arrested while on the run not long before this, with the feds connecting genuine gangster Supreme McGriff with fake gangsters Murder Inc., trying to pin this record label as a real criminal organization. I mean, perhaps these are the kind of problems you should have expected when you named your record label Murder Incorporated. Anyway, the Murder Inc. trial is a whole other kettle of fish. If you do want me to do an entire story on the rise and fall of Murder Inc., head on over to my Discord, link in description, and drop me a message in the story suggestion tab so that I know that's something you actually want to see. But anywho, the feds seized all of Murder Inc.'s assets and held onto them for a few years whilst Ja and Irv waited to go to trial. With all of this going on at the same time, this meant the rise of 50 Cent to the top of the rap game was double devastating for Ja Rule.
Look at Sean Combs in the background.
Because the federal case with its clause in the Murder Inc. label pretty much prevented
the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the name is Diddy. I ain't gonna lie, that song is hard. The D is Diddy. The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D is Diddy. The name is Diddy. That shit
Ja
hard.
Rule from being able to properly talk his shit in music in response to 50 Cent, who was rising up the charts and continually talking shit about Ja and the Inc. So instead of responding with music, in February of 2003, Ja Rule gets the cover of the Source magazine and he trots out those same tired points against 50 Cent, calling him a snitch and dragging the old order of protection out again. I mean, the headline of this cover story was quite literally,
Eminem.
Does 50 Cent need protection from Ja Rule? Little did Ja Rule know that he was about to get fucked by 50 Cent, sans protection, as within days of this interview coming out, Fofty's Get Rich or Die Tryin' drops, becoming one of the biggest rap debuts in history. And to make matters worse, this album had the devastating Ja Rule diss track Back Down, which was of course produced by Dr. Dre, once again calling out Ja Rule for being a fake gangster, starting his second verse with a hilarious impression of Ja Rule's inner monologue, and ending the song with somebody doing an impression of Ja Rule's stylist, an apparent reference to a made-up rumour that Ja Rule had had a homosexual affair with his stylist. A rumour apparently made up by Dogecoin king DMX. But if all of that wasn't bad enough, 50 Cent also threw two of his old Ja Rule
Why did he call DMX Dogecoin, bitch?
This is on Get Rich or Die Tryin' as bonus tracks, the songs Life's on the Line and You Not Like Me. And remember, this album was literally the best-selling album in America for 2003, moving 6.5 million copies. That's 6.5 motherfuckers out here bumping 50 Cent's music and saying fuck Ja Rule. Not a good look, but perhaps at the time, Ja Rule didn't really realise what was actually happening. Because at this time, 50 was swinging his enormous influence in a big way, and the fuck Ja Rule movement was genuinely picking up big steam amongst fans. Meanwhile, Ja Rule couldn't really directly respond to all of these jabs because of the ongoing investigation into his label. At this point, 50 Cent had basically become what Ja Rule was the year before when he was getting back-to-back #1s. Hell, 50 was bigger at this point. And so, unable to record new music, Ja Rule ended up making another sideways dig at 50 any way he could, going on to drop the music video for the track Murder Reigns, a song from his Last Temptation album that had already released the previous year. And this music video seemingly depicted somebody pulling up in a Range Rover at a police station, going in and completely snitching on Murder Inc. to the feds, with the implication being that this guy in the video was 50 Cent. Thing is though, while Ja Rule was desperate trying to find any way that he could diss 50 Cent without actually making any music, the Shady Records team were making project after project laced with Ja Rule putdowns. Only a few weeks after Get Rich or Die Tryin' drops, executive produced by Eminem, full of Ja Rule disses, Eminem also ends up exec producing the soundtrack for the movie Cradle to the Grave, starring none other than Ja Rule's main op at the time and crack connoisseur DMX. So in the name of shared ops, Eminem decides to jump on.
Ja Rule was beefing with DMX too? See, this is the thing, bro. You can't be beefing with multiple people at once. You gotta pick one opponent and go at them, bro. You can't be beefing with. See, bro, it's the ego, bro. Gotta be.
On the track Go to Sleep with DMX, running a metaphorical train on Ja Rule, with M saying outright Ja can get it, and the whole chorus basically just being Eminem and DMX going back and forth saying they want to put a bullet in Ja's head. So now Eminem is officially in play in this beef. And I tell you what, you do not want to get in a beef.
Another overpriced.
Eminem. In March 2003, 50 isn't done wailing on Ja Rule just yet. At the end of the month, he drops the mixtape Smokin' Day 2, featuring a track called The Realest Killers. This song eventually ended up on the soundtrack to the Tupac film Tupac Resurrection, and it also featured a posthumous verse from Tupac, as well as an intro from 50 Cent talking about someone, Ja Rule, being a fake Tupac, and a full-length 50 Cent verse where he seems to go at Ja Rule for pretending to be Tupac, suggesting he did this to get hot, but now he's not. I mean, this was a particularly scathing type of diss because it's a Tupac song remix, and after all, Ja Rule's entire career has been dogged by these Tupac comparisons. But this wouldn't be the last time that Eminem and 50 Cent would use the Tupac connection to hurt Ja Rule's feelings. In April, Ja Rule finally jumps on a song responding to Eminem, with a freestyle on 50 Cent's Stabber Black Child's mixtape, once again dissing 50 for being a snitch, and saying he's gonna get busy with a shotty on Blondie, aka Eminem.
Bro, is Ja Rule still to this day calling 50 Cent a snitch?
Looking out through the dark, I see like shades. So I'm hunting you blondie with the sword gauge. Cause I heard that little nigga there was talking crazy. You heard your crack, I went ground beef out your bed. And half your moms getting raped by niggas that spicks on the daily. You know you feel me? Cause I'm clearly the rap game's Jimmy Hoffa for nigga out.
This freestyle was just a taste of things to come, however.
Ja Rule is like aesthetic wise a carbon copy of a bad Tupac. He look like a bad Tupac impersonator and sound like a low budget DMX, bro.
A few days later, Ja Rule goes on to release the devastating full-length diss track, Loose Change, an obvious reference to 50 Cent. In the track, he imagines 50 being dead and calls him a snitch once again, but the track went far beyond just dissing 50. Ja Rule dissed the entire label, Shady Records, Interscope. Hell, he even went at label boss Jimmy Iovine saying that he gets peed on. No free beats for Ja. What? He also accused Dr. Dre of being gay and a cross-dresser along with Eminem, and M was the one who Ja had the most smoke for on this song, accusing M of wanting to be black, before dropping the beat and ending the song with the most devastating diss line that you could possibly say to Eminem.
Shut up, M, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?
Yes, basically, he said that his daughter was gonna grow up to be a hoe. Don't do that, Ja. 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 Oh, Ja. Naturally, Eminem was not going to let this slide, and he later said in his verse on Like Toy Soldiers that this was the moment in the beef that he completely lost it. And a couple of weeks later, we got a big response, as DJ Green Lantern drops the Invasion Part 2 mixtape, which features Eminem, D12, G-Unit, and other Interscope Records artists, all dissing Ja Rule. They had skits with Eminem mocking Ja.
Keep it locked in right here. Coming up next, we got the new Last Temptation by Ja Rule's Nothing Anymore.
This was followed by a rare Eminem and G-Unit link-up, the Ja Rule Dissathon Bump Heads, where Eminem mocked Ja for a long laundry list of things, including, but not limited to, taking ecstasy, thinking he's DMX, thinking he's Tupac, thinking he's Martin Luther King, singing the same songs over and over again, and basically just being Ja Rule. Then M goes on to ask why didn't Ja Rule say anything to him when they bumped into each other at the airport. Now this is a reference to a mythical incident where Ja Rule and Eminem did indeed run into each other at an airport when they were both having their jets refueled at the same time. An incident which Ja actually elaborated on many years later in a Vlad TV interview.
I seen him, we was at Teterboro, and we were switching jets, and it was a man-to-man respectful conversation. Like, I know what it is, M, and M's like, you know, I don't really got no hard feelings towards you. It's just, that's home team, and it's a rap beef, and
he signed to my label.
He signed to my label, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I know what it is, you know what I'm saying? I said, I ain't got nothing against you neither.
Well, according to Eminem, Ja Rule was the one being all buddy-buddy that day. In fact, M ends the verse with the coffin nailer of a line, saying that day we met at the airport, Ja Rule just slapped my hand, smiled, and told me 50 Cent was everything he wanted to be. Now I know that's enough to make Ja Rule want to jump off the roof of the nearest gyro spot to a tzatziki-soaked grave, but the Shady Records
I hate the way he say fucking gyro.
Execution Squad were not done there, oh no. They were just warming up, because the next track on the mixtape is the devastating Loose Change response song, Hail Mary. Another reworking of a classic Tupac song just to add a little more salt to Ja Rule's wounds. In fact, before a single lyric had even been dropped in this song, Eminem had handed Ja Rule another Tupac-shaped L when he decided to prevent Ja Rule from participating in any of the songs on the new posthumous Tupac album, Loyal to the Game, which Eminem had been given permission to executive produce by Tupac's family. So doubling the disrespect on M's version of Hail Mary, he uses Tupac's cadence and flow to dish Ja Rule in the worst possible way, saying in the hook, if Pac was still here now, he would never ride with Ja. Nah, 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 nah. Wasn't so bad. He said that Ja Rule's been stealing Tupac's quotes for years, hoping no one will notice. He dropped numerous references to Ja Rule being hooked on pills, which is a little rich coming from Eminem these days, but whatever. Next verse, 50 Cent taps into the Royal Rumble and goes hard on Ja, saying that Ja couldn't take 9 shots like he did, and asking when's your little sweet ass gonna come out of the closet. But of course they weren't done there, no, no, no. Because Hail Mary was followed up by another Ja Rule diss, Do Re Mi, aka Haley's Revenge with Eminem and D12. A track which literally opens with a skit where Eminem's daughter Haley says that she doesn't want to end up like Ja Rule's dirty ass kids. Eminem even asks his daughter to go and fetch his Oscar so that he can shove it up Ja Rule's ass. And then D12 ride out hard on Ja Rule in the verses too, with M jumping on the hook saying, Ja, quit playing, knock it off, you're not Tupac, don't hate me cause I'm hot and you're not, shooting at me with the only shot you got. And to cap it all off, Haley jumps back onto the track on the outro to ask Eminem, Ja Rule is taller than her, prompting him to reply, nah honey, you're the same height. Woo, that's savage. After that, the mixtape is littered with more Ja Rule disses. Hell, G-Unit even had Tony Yayo phone in from jail just to say fuck Ja Rule.
We just jacked the nigga for some motherfucking phone time, and I'm about to drop some shit for Ja Rule, punk pussy ass.
All of this was frankly devastating for Ja Rule and Murder Inc., who were still going through the ringer with their ongoing case. At this point, 50 Cent and Eminem were the hottest thing in the game, and their army of fans all over the planet were screaming "fuck Ja Rule" in unison. In an attempt to respond to this, Ja Rule and Irv Gotti ended up bagging a XXL cover story where they were pictured in the crosshairs and named as two of America's most wanted, doing an extended interview in their words to fire back at all the motherfucking haters. Irv said that he thinks the fans want the beef to turn violent, going on to suggest that 50 Cent or Eminem could end up being killed as part of this beef. Ja Rule says he hasn't seen 50 since the beef started, eventually going on to say that he's gonna wear out 50 Cent, Eminem, or Dr. Dre's ass if he ever catches up with them. Now, I don't want to imagine what he means by that, but it would turn out that offering to wear out the ass of a legend like Dr. Dre was not such a good idea either, because a few months later, the Shady Records hit Shit Hits the Fan drops, featuring a verse from Dr. Dre where he
tell if it's muscle or fat. Everyone talks about progressive overload and protein shakes.
I can only really describe it as "where's Ja Rule's ass?" Dre directly responds to Ja's threat of slapping him, saying that Ja's got to jump to even have a shot at slapping Dre's kneecaps. Dre goes on to say that he laughs at the threats in magazines and that he sees right through them, and then finally coming through with the coffin nailer of a line: "You're not Tupac, I knew him. Pac was a real Nigel, you're just a fucking insult to him." My lord, that's savage. Now, in response to the onslaught of hate that he was getting from the other side, Ja Rule finally got round to dropping a few diss songs. Firstly, there was Guess Who Shot Ya?, a track mainly mocking 50 Cent for getting shot a bunch of times and not knowing who did it, and insinuating that Murder Inc. had something to do with that shooting, suggesting that 50 snitched. Ironic when you're literally snitching on yourself in the same breath, isn't it? But anyway, Ja also makes fun of 50's mom, who was a drug dealer and killed when he was a kid. Another Ja Rule diss track circulated around this time under the title of So Hot, where Ja dissed 50 for more of the same old things. Now, it's not entirely clear when these disses dropped, but really they were all just the appetizer for Ja's new, bigger, much more polished response single, Clap Back, which was frankly one of the most successful records that he had put out in a while, landing at 44 on Billboard and of course being laden with 50 Cent and Eminem disses. Ja says he's gonna find Eminem like Saddam and bomb him. He says he's gonna let guns blast on 50 Cent for snitching, yet bizarrely, after dropping a mainstream and quite successful diss song, Ja seems to do a complete 180, appearing in a bizarre 30-minute interview with Louis Farrakhan from the Nation of Islam, apparently calling for peace with 50.
Will this meeting of a 27-year-old rapper and a 70-year-old charismatic religious leader...
Bro, why is all the videos back in like the early 2000s seem like a parody of some shit? Like, I think this is supposed to be like serious, but this seems like a parody. Like, it seems fake.
In this beef.
But if you look closely, you could tell Ja's heart wasn't really in it.
Tell me, how did this beef get started with you and Brother 50?
I really think it started from a lot of jealousy, a lot of hatred towards me.
Allegedly, 50 was invited to this sit-down but turned it down because he wasn't buying Ja Rule's flimsy peacemaker act, later telling MTV that he thought the entire thing was simply a publicity stunt to try and promote his album. And sure enough, straight after that interview, Ja Rule's album drops. Blood in My Eye was considered by many as sort of a hate album because the entire thing was pretty much just littered with 50 Cent and Shady Records disses. This included the track Things Gone Change.
I feel like this is gonna be like Drake's next album, just filled with nothing but disses and sneak disses and hate just towards everybody who switched up on him.
Where Ja went at 50M, Dr. Dre, hell, he even had Smoke for Proof out of D12. Leave Proof out of this! But regardless of Ja Rule just whiling out all over the Shady Records boys on his Blood in My Eye album, this album ultimately flopped to Ja Rule's own standards. It only managed to hit number 6 on Billboard, moving 139,000 copies first week, which I know is pretty good to 2021 standards. But hell, even back then, the G-Unit Crew album Beg for Mercy debuted better at number 3 on
Drake think everybody against him? Yeah.
Billboard, and selling 377,000 units first week. That's not a 50 album, that's the G-Unit album. Man. In my opinion, it's really here where Ja fucked up the most. Because him alone, Ja Rule, is the one who let his album and ultimately his entire career be defined by this beef with 50 Cent. And as a result, his failure in this beef would be intrinsically linked to a complete failure of his entire career from this point onward. Furthermore, Ja Rule had kind of abandoned the original fans that took him to the top by dropping his clean pop mainstream image so that he could drop the street album Blood in My Eye that was just full of hate and disses, alienated that mainstream pop audience who had initially bought his earlier albums in droves. And at this point, Ja Rule was completely alienated from any of the real rap fans who were riding with 50 Cent and G-Unit at the time. You simply couldn't be a fan of 50 Cent and also like Ja Rule, and Ja Rule was partly responsible for that. So the coffin of Ja Rule's career was firmly nailed shut at this point, and from here on out, we would truly see the fall of Ja Rule. Ja Rule had made the biggest mistake he possibly could with Blood in My Eye. He allowed the 50 Cent beef to completely define his entire musical output. 50 Cent was living in Ja's head and on Ja's music rent-free. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was being interviewed by MTV saying that he's moving on and the beef is over, very wisely pointing out that the G-Unit Beg for Mercy album had no mentions of Ja Rule, which is a very good point. But in spite of that sentiment, however, in the months that followed, more mixtape tracks and leaks would emerge that saw the Shady Records crew continuing to kick Ja Rule while he was down. 50 Cent did a clapback remix, dissing Ja Rule and refusing to rap on that beat and mocking him for falling off. Numerous Eminem tracks surfaced dissing Ja Rule specifically, including I'm Gone with Obi Trice, Monkey See Monkey Do, and Bully, and eventually 50 Cent is interviewed in the February 2004 edition of Vibe, savaging Ja Rule after being asked whether or not he used the Ja beef to his advantage, and saying straight up that it was Ja Rule who made his career by giving him so much attention in 2002 when Ja was popping and 50 was a nobody. 50 went on to say that Ja Rule sucks at business and missed all of the opportunities to get money in rap that 50 took.
Hey, man, this nigga made a career out of being in a beef? Is that what I gotta do to become 50 Cent? 50 Cent like up like half a B, I'm pretty sure. Like 50 Cent is rich. Who I gotta diss though? I'm gonna get my rocks off on that nigga DDG. Fuck it, right? He'll respond to anybody. That nigga ego so damn big, he'll respond to anybody. And he big enough, shit. And a lot of niggas hate him. Bro, nah, think about it. A lot of niggas hate DDG, right? He'll respond to anybody because his ego is so big. I used to watch that nigga, but fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? If that's what it takes, fuck DDG. Fuck him. Fuck him. If that's what it takes, bro, shit. 50 Cent did it. 50 Cent did it. I do it. Shit. Ain't no shame in my game. You gotta get it how you live.
And 50 ends the interview by saying that Ja Rule owns nothing. And
Yeah. Fuck that nigga DDG. That nigga music is trash.
Straight in the same street situations as 50. Ja ain't freed from the streets. 2 months after this, Ja Rule ended up getting his cover on Vibe magazine with the slightly embarrassing headline, Ja Rule, is this the end? Now, this article was quite tough because it was filled with Ja Rule attempting to puff himself up as if he wasn't really going broke or becoming irrelevant. He posed next to his Maybach, reminding everybody that Maybach cost $400,000. And he has numerous properties.
See, you know what a nigga is spiraling when he start flexing and shit. I never heard somebody say, hey, play that new DDG. On God, I never heard a nigga say that shit. Never heard a nigga say that shit. He is a good rapper, though. DDG, all jokes aside, DDG is a good rapper, but his music is, that nigga music is 50. Like, it's either really good or really, really bad. And I think he needs features badly. Like I'll listen to a song with DDG as the feature, or like if DDG got a mainstream feature on the songs, but I'm not listening to DDG by himself. I'm sorry. DDG by himself is not getting played.
Do you remember when 50 Cent said Ja Rule didn't have a business brain? Nuh-uh, because Ja Rule says he just started a clothing company. Oh, and a movie company. Yeah, apparently it's going so well that Ja Rule just gets a flood of scripts coming through to his inbox every week. You know, because like scripts are like money, right? Oh, Andy's been married to his high school sweetheart for the past 4 years. 50 can't say that, can he? Andy sold 8 million albums. You know, different albums, not all one album like 50 Cent did, but yes, according to this article, it's Ja Rule who was the fearless warrior, who decided to take on the toughest gladiator the rap game had to offer, and becoming the most hated person in the rap game in the process. He died for your sins. He's basically Jesus of beef. As the interview goes on, Ja Rule is portrayed as the renegade tough guy, the lyrical Tony Montana coked up and running into a hail of bullets. But by the end of the article, even the writer is dropping sly digs, saying that Ja Rule should have prayed for better album sales. And Ja continues his tough guy act, spectacularly bragging about the fact that he keeps a gun in his Maybach, smartly stashed in one of the car's 2 humidors, where I'm sure the cops will never find it. Ja goes on to say that it's not getting clowned by 50 Cent that's angered him the most over the last year, but it's the fans turning on him that he hates the most, seemingly oblivious to the fact that it was 50 Cent's influence combined with Ja Rule's obsession of going at 50 that really caused the fans to switch on him. And then, in the very same breath, Ja Rule gives the haters even more fuel to dislike him by comparing himself to Tupac and saying that after this beef, all...
I don't know what's up with the the only reason people was listening to Pink Dress was because of PBM.
And Ja then goes on.
What is up with the obsession with Tupac? I understand he's a genius, great artist, great musician, but they be on his nuts like he's Jesus. I ain't never been on a nigga nuts like that ever, bro. They be like borderline gay for Tupac.
On to say one of the dumbest things I've ever heard an entertainer say. If you don't like me, then guess what? I'm gonna become the most unliked motherfucker on earth then. It's that kind of thinking that was the downfall of Ja Rule. Because while 50 Cent was—
That's ego, bro. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting.
Writing hit songs, starting businesses and making millions, only occasionally dissing Ja Rule, Ja was making entire albums of petty, whack-ass diss songs that only really functioned to put down his ops. This did nothing to delight his fans, and in my opinion, I think that time would have all been better spent just making chart hits. Fortunately, at the end of this Vibe article, we do at least get the early indications that Ja Rule is indeed willing to put this beef behind him, saying that he's recorded numerous songs, none of which mention 50. Ultimately concluding he is indeed ready to put down the sword on this beef, but him and 50 will never be friends. And soon, the promised Ja Rule comeback was in full effect, as Ja drops his comeback radio hit, the track Wonderful with R. Kelly and Ashanti. This track hit 5 on Billboard and had many people saying Ja Rule was indeed back. But Ja just couldn't help himself, could he? In spite of everything that he had learned from that single going number 5, about the difference between a street hit and a radio hit, and in spite of how bad things had gone the previous year with Blood in My Eyes.
Tupac Glaze shit mostly from the Pac and Big beef. I feel like most people respect both Pac and Big, so I don't know. I don't think it's the Glaze from that. I think it's just like I think they just like really like love his music. It's like on it like, I don't know how to explain it. I understand why they like Tupac so much, but I don't know why they go to the extent that they do. Like, you can like his music a lot, but like, they be crossing a line to where it gets weird.
Ja Rule, truly like Tony Montana, coked up and running into a hail of bullets, refused to let this beef die, and instead of grabbing onto this final opportunity to be successful in the commercial rap game, decided instead to drag his career right back to the bottom of the barrel, dropping another single, sneak dissing 50. On October 2004, Ja Rule drops the track New York alongside Fat Joe and Jadakiss. This saw Ja subliminally going at 50, once again trotting out the same tired old lines about him being a snitch who wears a wire. Now after this, 50 Cent saw Fat—
Hey, he been using that snitch line for like the last decade. Jesus, give it up. It hasn't caught on yet. Damn.
Joe and Jadakiss as straight up ops due to their close proximity with Ja Rule, kicking off a raucous beef with Fat Joe that is actually too hilarious to even cram into this video. But if you want to see me cover the 50 Cent Fat Joe beef in more detail, get in that Discord, baby. Story suggestions tab, let me know whether you want that. Anyway, despite in my opinion being a complete step in the wrong direction, New York did become somewhat of a successful street hit. So with these 2 successful drops under his belt, for a moment it looked like Ja Rule might be back. And after these 2 big back-to-back W's, Ja ended up covering the Source magazine once again in November 2004, with a headline asking, "Is beef still on the menu?" Maybe Ja was hinting that the beef with 50 might be back on, but meanwhile, there was one person who was definitely done beefing with Ja Rule. Eminem, who dropped the reflective track Like Toy Soldiers around this time, a song we've already discussed where Eminem outlined attempting to stop the Ja 50 beef from happening, but Eminem actually goes further in this song, essentially saying that he believes that he won the Ja Rule beef, but it wasn't worth it because it left him so exhausted, and he felt personally responsible for stoking it so far.
Wait, what? It's crazy shit when beyond some Jay-Z and Nas shit, and even thought the battle was won. I feel like we lost it. I spent so much energy on it. Honestly, I'm exhausted, and I caught in on it. I almost feel like I'm the one who caused it.
Ultimately ending the song saying the beef isn't worth it and it's over if everyone could just stop popping shots. Thing is, 50 Cent wasn't done popping shots at the ops. He goes on to
50 Cent don't never stop.
Drop his track Piggy Bank.
And that's what you gotta do, bro. That's what you gotta do. It's been 5 minutes since I dissed DDG. Fuck that nigga, bro. Again, for the second time in the stream.
Jadakiss and Fat Joe over the disses on the New York track. He calls Ja Tupac. He says people only like the song New York in New York and Ja's ass is local. And then in March 2005, 50 Cent covered XXL magazine under the very spicy headline, 50 Cent hunts down the ops. In this interview, 50 Cent rather hilariously offered to sign Ja Rule once he's done at Murder Inc., offering to rebuild him after he had seemingly been destroyed. Now, for all of the kicking Ja Rule while he was down, to be fair to the guy, he was kind of due a W at this point. So eventually, after years of waiting, Murder Inc. finally went to trial and miraculously beat the RICO case against them after spending what was reportedly a whopping $10 million.
Yeah. We did it!
Because basically, once the government put these charges on you, you couldn't earn money.
And I'm just happy to say that we're innocent.
Once the smoke settled on this in April 2006, Ja Rule dropped his response song 21 Guns. This seemed to be an attempt to reignite the 50 Cent beef in order to hype a potential comeback album. And this track included some frankly pretty jokes tracks about 50 Cent wearing his bulletproof vest like a condom. But elsewhere, of course, it had the same tired old lines calling 50 a snitch, again, calling G-Unit gay unit, again. In fact, on this track, Ja Rule also accused 50 Cent of being gay because of his fashion sense, which to be fair was an accusation that 50 Cent got by—
Your mom was queer, lesbian, gay, so that makes 50 Cent
the bucket load after this very sus GQ cover. Now this is
Alright, so yeah, I would call a nigga everything but straight if I saw him on a magazine cover like these. That is the gayest shit I've, like, 50 Cent. You allowed them to take these pictures? You reviewed them and said, yeah, that's the one. Bro, hell nah. What? Alright, yeah. I see. This is crazy.
Actually an outfit that I recently roasted over on the second channel in a video I did on the worst fashion fits in hip-hop history.
50 Cent sleeveless dress shirt. Oh god, that is awful. That is
This is bad.
Straight up awful. 50 Cent's on that Incredible Hulk shit. Fucking breakaway sleeves. This is the guy that was making fun of the game for being a stripper. Meanwhile, he's out here with
Bro dressed like he watch DDG vlogs.
In a video I did on the worst fashion fits in hip-hop history.
Yeah. 50 Cent's sleeveless dress shirt. Oh god, that is awful. That is straight
Bro just like he listens to the DDG music.
Up awful.
Facts.
50 Cent's on that Incredible Hulk shit. Fucking breakaway sleeves. This is the guy that was making fun of the game for being a stripper. Meanwhile, he's out here with breakaway sleeves like he's a fucking strippergram. He's about to run up in the Shady Records office, pull those sleeves off, just start thrusting towards Eminem, saying, "Thanks for giving me the fucking deal."
So go check that out and subscribe to my second channel, Trap More Ross, if you want to see more unscripted fire from your boy. Anywho, 50 Cent didn't rise to the diss at this point, and without any more fuel being added to the fire, Ja Rule was pretty much finished. He didn't end up dropping an album at all in 2006, and Irv Gotti soon fell back from the rap game too after a disappointing return. After the trial, he tried to rebrand Murder Inc. as simply The Inc., and with such a trash rebranding, it's no surprising that it didn't really take off for him. Then, after the fall of The Inc., Ja Rule started his own label called the Empire Music Group, a label appearing to be as good at grammar as they are at releasing records. As Ja Rule's efforts to release his new singles through this label ended in disaster. His tracks Uh-Oh with Lil Wayne and Body both ended up flopping, only reaching number 69 and 72 on Billboard's R&B charts respectively. And the track Uh-Oh was particularly mocked by 50 Cent in hilarious fashion.
Ja Rule and Lil Wayne right here. That's what happened. They knew I was coming. They knew I was coming. They knew I was coming.
They knew you was coming. And dude said,
From here, the years that followed were very unkind to Ja Rule. After that poor start, things went from bad to worse, as many of the tracks that he recorded for his upcoming album The Mirror ended up leaking. So in 2008, he dropped a bunch of those leaked tracks on a mixtape called Atkins Files Volume 1, which to me sounds more like a diet plan than a mixtape. And then when the leaks continued, by 2009, Ja just said, fuck it.
I know this was not the album cover, bro. This is horrible, bro. This is bottom 5 album covers I've ever seen in my life. Ja Rule deserves to lose, to just fall off just because of this right here.
It sounds more like a diet plan than a mixtape. And then when the leaks continued, by 2009, Ja just said fuck it, abandoning his The Mirror project as a full-blown album, instead just chucking it out as a free mixtape. That didn't end up making too much noise, and after this long line of L after L, Ja Rule decided finally to take a break from music, and he didn't end up releasing anything else until 2011. Essentially, Ja Rule was tapped out of the game after being strangled so hard on diss tracks by 50 Cent and Eminem. It's not just what they said on the tracks, but it was that sentiment in rap had shifted far away from Ja Rule to those people hating on Ja. And it's really here that the all-out war between 50 Cent and Ja Rule was over. But with plenty of bitterness and hate still going strong between these two old foes, at this point, this beef shifted into a Cold War, with these two artists spending the next 10 years constantly taking jabs at each other on social media.
The secret to our deodorant is sand. A crazy message from a customer named Mina. Here it is.
Media. Once the bars stopped flying between these two mortal enemies on records, the disses still continued online. And unfortunately, even though the beef itself had wound down, that didn't stop Ja Rule from continually catching L's. Ja Rule truly hit rock bottom at the end of 2010 when he got sentenced to 2 years in jail for gun possession and tax evasion. Remember that Maybach that Ja Rule bragged about keeping his gun in? Yeah, well, the cops found it, seemingly exactly where he said he was hiding it too. So Ja pled guilty to the charges and ended up getting 2 years in jail.
Man. Oh man, that's bro. You can't have a gun. You can't shoot anybody. You can't have a gun anymore.
Of course, 50 Cent was first in line to clown Ja Rule on Twitter once reports of his jail time emerged, with 50 saying that he's got Ja when he comes home, lol, and then offering props to anybody who knocks out.
Damn, the homie Ja Rule gotta do 2 years. Tell him I said, don't worry, I got him when he come home, LOL. Yo, word to my mother. If anybody knock Ja out and fuck him in jail, it's gonna be home. LOL.
Out and violates Ja Rule in jail. Ja Rule clapped back at 50's disrespect.
How is he tweeting from prison? Hey, you a pussy? Shut the fuck up before I smack you in your mouth again. LOL, the nerve of some niggas.
Telling him to shut up before he smacks him again, then bizarrely suggesting that he will tell
Yo, boo-boo, chill out before I tell Twitter Nation your little secret.
The world's 50 secret.
Dildo filth.
Hashtag dildo fifth, which, yeah, okay. Ja later.
How do you know that? Ew. If 50 Cent had a little secret, why do you know that? With dildos. Nigga said that like he was his gay lover, like his ex-gay lover. Like, bro, every chance he gets, he tries to call him gay. He might be projecting, bro. It's either 50 Cent is actually gay, or Ja Rule, I was going to say Ja Morant. Ja Rule is, you know what I'm saying? He flies south of the border a lot.
He came out saying that he was ashamed of this immature Twitter exchange, ultimately concluding after this that the beef was over and you don't need to be at war with someone forever. Saying that going forward they can coexist peacefully and that he has no interest in dragging this beef out. Something that Ja Rule elaborated on in more detail in this on-camera interview.
With the 50 Cent beef, you've addressed it numerous times.
Fuck 50 Cent beef, we ain't talking about it no more, I'm a vegetarian.
Would you do anything differently?
No, no, because I didn't do anything wrong.
Will there ever be a resolution to that, you think?
Yeah, it's resolved now.
Okay.
I'm cool. I ain't beefing no more. Like I said, I'm a vegetarian. I couldn't believe that he was still engaging me. Like, nigga, you still beefing with me, nigga? Like, you still want to beef with me, nigga? Like, I'm done with that, nigga.
So in 2012, Ja Rule heads off to prison, a humbled man ready to do his time. And eventually, when he gets out in September 2013, he hops along with Irv Gotti on an interview with Angie Martinez. Seemingly with a much more positive demeanor, Ja Rule and Irv Gotti were finally comfortable enough to have a somewhat honest conversation about the fall of their empire, where they both acknowledged the role that 50 Cent played in the downfall of their businesses, and Ja even was able to admit that he had taken the L in the 50 Cent beef.
We was in my office, me and Rule, right? We in the office, and Flex was about to play In the Club, right? So Flex plays In the Club. That record was so dope. I looked at Rule, I said, yo, you have a major problem.
Do you think, because you say now you could say, in hindsight you could say, yes, we took an L there.
Yeah, we took an L, but listen,
right.
Yeah, we took the L. We took the L, but you know what? People take L's. It's not the L, it's what you do, and if you keep swinging and keep fighting. Of course.
He was a part of the juggernauts at that moment. Eminem, Dre, they were very, very big in what they were doing as well. So as we were big over on our side, they were also big on their side. And as everything started to crumble for us, as far as we didn't have a label as a home.
Ja Rule kind of like a turtle. Is that me or just, I don't know.
You understand? It was
he dead ass looked like a turtle.
A lot of things that were falling apart for us. It was easy for him to get people to turn on
bulldoze.
Right.
Like the sea turtles that was in Finding Nemo.
A couple of months after this interview, the unthinkable happened. For the first time in over a decade since this beef begun, 50 Cent and Ja Rule ended up in the same place together on a plane. And what do you know, this event was able to go down without the entire flight descending into a mass brawl. Ja Rule even tweeted that they were on the same row of the plane, no problems. However, the story wasn't the same when you heard it from petty old 50 Cent, who appeared in an interview with Sway, suggesting that Ja Rule was nervous on that plane and that 50 Cent started walking around the cabin to make him uncomfortable.
See, then I sat down and I kept getting up and moving around and things.
Seeing if anything would happen.
No, just making him uncomfortable because I knew that he was by himself. It was like him and another guy.
You're horrible.
Ja Rule, however, rebuffed this version of events appearing in a Vlad TV interview, saying that 50 can say whatever he wants because Ja was catching some Z's at the time.
You know what I'm saying? So he sees me, I see him. He looks at me, he's like, yo, what up? I'm like, all right, what up? Go back to doing what I'm doing. Plane took off. I propped up my pillow, you know what I'm saying? Took me a nap, you know.
What do you do when the ops catch you outside? Ah, man. Damn, this is why I don't beef with niggas. That's why I don't beef with niggas, bro. That's why I don't beef with niggas, bro. Cause like, what do you do when the ops catch you though? And you loafing by yourself? Ugh. Do you just act like you don't see him? do you just act like you don't see him? That's probably the best option, right? I don't know. Shit.
I kept getting up and walking around and make him nervous and all this crazy shit. I'm laughing. I'm like, you know what? It may be true. I don't know. I was asleep. Like, he may have been getting up, walking. I don't know. I was catching some Z's at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Following this, in 2014, 50 Cent appears at Hot 97's Summer Jam Festival, where he performs his classic Ja Rule diss track, I Smell Pussy. After this, Ja starts feeling some type of way and ends up going off at 50 on Twitter, dragging out—
Y'all respect the one who got shot? I respect the shooter. Niggas these days, shaking my head, hustling backwards. L-A-M-A-F-A, la la. This nigga been on my dick. He loved my style. Nas voice. Laughing my fucking ass off at 50 Cent. Damn, after all these years, I'm still in a nigga's head. Thanks for the shout out, 50. Rule York, he chatting. I don't know, bro. This beef is like weird to me because at this point, these niggas are like in their 30s, I believe, and they still doing the back and forth shit. This shit is kind of weird. They must have fucked each other or something. They must be on some real gay shit. Both of these niggas gotta be gay or something. I'm telling you, bro. What?
The usual tide.
They fighting like they fighting like they used to be. You know what I'm saying?
Jokes about 50 getting shot.
That shit's weird, bro.
And in response,
grown ass men, bro.
50 Cent
tweeting at each other every fucking time they get.
Clapped back on Big Boy once again, saying that he thought Ja Rule was dead.
That's great. I mean, he's dead. I thought I killed you.
Man.
You mean the guy's back from the dead?
Then, for a brief moment in 2015, it looked like Ja Rule and 50 Cent could finally agree on something. When during Meek Mill and Drake's explosive beef, apparently Ja and 50 Cent agreed with the prevailing sentiment on Twitter that beef was nowhere near as good as their beef. Ja tweeted it's not a real beef until somebody gets shot or stabbed, and later asked in an Instagram caption—
Ja Rule, his mentality is just stupid, bro. What do you mean that you respect the shooter? What do you mean it's not a real beef until somebody gets shot or stabbed? I hate niggas like that, bro. Hate niggas like that. Bro. Stupid, bro.
Which one of them is supposed to be him, Meek or Drake? Because he sold 30 million records. Meanwhile, 50 Cent threw up a caption suggesting that Drake had copied his style with the back-to-back.
Is that me? Nah, I'm not light-skinned. What the fuck is going on? Shaking my head. This guy been watching me close.
Diss tracks. After that, both Irv and Ja ended up on The Breakfast Club discussing 50 Cent and Eminem, where Ja suggests that he's good with everyone now.
I've never seen the industry turn on a person the way they turned on you. It seemed like everybody had something to say, from Eminem to DMX to Dre to Busta. You still have those old beefs?
Nah, I'm good with everybody.
Nah.
I'm good with everybody.
So, keeping it moving, later in 2016, Ja Rule ends up doing a Foot Locker commercial that is pretty embarrassing, to be honest. He basically stars as himself, like washed up, but working as an Uber driver.
You know, fellas, you can't take sustained greatness like that for granted.
Great news! Now your account has a level, and you get free daily cases.
So hard to achieve. Once you find greatness, you hold on to it. I mean, you can lose it just like that. 1 minute you're on top of the world. The next, it's all different. It's all different.
Yeah, you know, we just up here on the right.
Naturally, 50 Cent clowned Ja Rule heavy for this on Instagram.
He really driving the Uber now.
I'll be honest, genuinely, I don't know why Ja Rule
Bro, this is like when Trump worked at what's the name, McDonald's for that one day.
Accepted such a shitty role. I mean, they literally just made him look like such a bum. Not that there's anything wrong with driving Ubers, but Ja Rule should have known how this would look. Anywho, it soon became very clear where Ja Rule was spending his surge pricing earnings from driving Ubers, as in 2017 we saw him YOLOing his life savings into Fyre Festival with disastrous results. Once the Fyre Festival was done unraveling publicly, 50 Cent took to Twitter to clown Ja Rule, with a savage post seeming to depict Donald Trump appointing Ja Rule as Secretary of Festivals, with a caption saying, "Can't do nothing right, lol." After that, in 2018, when 50 Cent was on a press run for a movie, he was interviewed alongside Ja Rule's son.
Adora Ammo's son. Thanks for the follow, bro. That's random. A random follower.
Who said that when he was a kid, the beef with 50 Cent had him throwing Ja Rule's CDs out the whip.
I told 50 when I
last stream. Yeah, for a little minute. Or clickbait. It's the last stream for a little minute.
Met him.
W
I
following
like Ja Rule. I was a so fan. You know, I digged it. I was into it. He came out, threw the CD right out my grandma's car.
I'm rebranding shit. Rebrand. Gotta figure some shit out. New plan, new niche, new stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And then 50 Cent said he put Ja Rule's career to sleep.
In 2018, if you've seen Ja Rule, it's not like some on-site type of stuff, right? Okay.
Ja quickly clapped back on Twitter, calling 50 a pussy, reminding fans that he'd been stabbed, I think they get it at this point, and dissing Ice Cube's son, saying that 50 is his son. And then Ja Rule got on his Millhouse shit, saying that he owned—
I own your soul. Everybody sees it, you're my bitch. Bro, this Ja Rule dude, bro. This Ja Rule nigga. This Ja Rule nigga's an interesting character. I'm gonna keep it like that, bro. I'd never tell another man that I own your soul. What? I own your soul? How long you been streaming for? I've been streaming like inconsistently for like a couple years. I wouldn't even say a couple years, because some of those years I wasn't even streaming. Like, I only streamed for like a month in 2021. I didn't stream in 2022. I didn't stream in 2023. I didn't really stream in 2024. I mean 2023. 2024, I streamed like every other month. 2025, the same shit. So I never really streamed consistently. Like, I think the most I streamed in a row is like 30 days. And that was when I was trying to become an affiliate. And that was when I was in high school.
50 Cent's soul, which is ironic, because I doubt Ja Rule could even put a 50 Cent down payment on a used Kia Soul. Ja went on to threaten to expose Dildo Fifth once again, this time with a new hashtag, Tickle Booty. Then he called 50 Cent trash, saying that he had one album. But of course—
What? Tickle Booty? Bro, am I tweaking or what? Bro, what? What? How old was Ja Rule in 2018? He was 42 years old. Ja Rule was 42 years old, calling him Tickle Booty. What? 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 What are we talking? What? Why is he saying that, bro? No, if I'm 50 Cent, I gotta kill him at this point, bro. Because why are you saying that to me? You saying that like you know that. You saying that like you experienced that. He's saying it like he did it to 50 Cent. What do you mean, tickle booty?
The new hashtag Tickle Booty. Then he called 50 Cent trash, saying that he had one album. But of course, it's not a Ja Rule Twitter storm if he doesn't bring up the old order of protection and call 50 Cent a victim. Now, one person we didn't expect to slide back into this beef was our old bleach blonde pal Eminem, who at the end of August 2018 waded back into this beef when he dropped his Kamikaze album, pretty much dissing half of the rap game. This included the track Greatest, where Eminem took aim at Ja Rule once again, reminding everybody that he had shut down Ja Rule's career with diss tracks back in the day. This once again prompted Ja Rule to clap back on Twitter, saying those nasty lyrics he dropped about Hailey back in the day are still hitting home. But in spite of that, in September saying those nasty
Guess that Haley line must be starting it.
lyrics he dropped about Haley back in the day are still hitting home. But in spite of that, in September 2018, when Ja Rule appeared on Drink Champs, he drunkenly reminisced on the 50 Cent beef with, I would say, a slightly more positive outlook.
I don't have no issues with him either.
Wow.
Like
Currently.
I have no beef with him. I don't give a fuck what he does. I don't think he gives a fuck what I do. We're two kids from fucking Queens, and it shouldn't matter to nobody else because we don't give a fuck. I wish nobody no, harm. I want everybody to do well. I don't care if he does well.
Have you heard about Ryoko Pro? This is the cutting-edge portable Wi-Fi hotspot that people wish they found out about sooner.
But in the same breath, Ja Rule said that there was absolutely no chance of a reconciliation because him and 50 never liked each other anyway.
It's not like we need to rekindle something that was there. We were never friends.
50 clearly agreed with this sentiment, and he actually came out on Instagram a few months later saying the feud isn't over until one of them is dead. This tweet had apparently come just after Ja Rule had been on Twitter mocking 50 for a recent movie role.
50 thought he was winning the Oscar when he took this shit, bro. She wanted the BT Blockbuster Center because someone tell me that what's up, 50.
Where he had to lose a bunch of weight, as well as sharing another picture seemingly depicting a female version of 50, claiming that 50 Cent had thrown a tantrum and blocked him after his previous.
Don't she look like our next thing? Tell Auntie 50 to unblock me. I want to play. What are these emojis, bro? This nigga's pissing me off, bro. What? Ain't got my freaking ring light. Ja Rule don't know how to beef. I can't beef with nobody like Ja Rule, bro. You gonna make the whole timeline think we gay or something, bro. Get out of here with that, bro. Cause what is you talking about, bro? I wanna play? Then making me a woman? You weirdo.
Roasting. But more L's were on the horizon for Ja Rule, oh boy. In April 2019, it emerged that Ja Rule apparently owed a whopping $2 million in unpaid taxes, prompting 50 Cent to record a hilarious live reaction to the news when he heard it in his car.
2005, 2006, 2007, and 2008. I'm sure that there's...
Fall back?
Yeah, probably a lot of money that's also fees, because, they charge you a lot.
What does 50 Cent think about this?
Right now to the
What do you think about this particular situation?
Why are you trying to start?
You gotta pay his taxes, man. He gotta pay his taxes, man. Oh my goodness, Charlamagne, the nigga broke, man.
From here, 50 Cent ended up recording so many reaction videos to Ja Rule taking L's, he might as well have changed his name to Fofty Craze. Because in July 2019, Ja Rule and Irv Gotti are filmed being thrown out of a nightclub, with 50 reacting to the footage in hilarious fashion.
Look at big bitch ass nigga BJ. He can't even breathe and shit. Calm down! Calm down! SOBs. Access denied. Now look at these niggas, yo! Oh shit! Meanwhile, back in Saudi Arabia. Yo, somebody hold my shirt. When you want somebody to hold you back and they don't. Let me take my shirt off, because I'm going to do nothing. Fuck this, I'm going to do a lot of nothing. Exclusive footage of nothing. Nigga doing nothing. Y'all niggas want smoke? New exclusive footage of nothing. Niggas doing nothing. Pump faking like they get ready to do something. Oh, hold my shirt.
Ja clapped back sharing a video of 50 Cent with a pretty square head and the caption "Herman Monster Head Ass Nigel," hashtag Petty Murphy. And then, in August 2019, we got what was probably one of the most hilarious rap beef memes in history, as 50 Cent drops an IG caption clowning Ja Rule for selling tickets to his shows for $15 a pop, with a follow-up comment saying that he had just bought 200 in the front row so they can be empty.
I just bought 200 seats in the front row so they can be empty. Bro, what the fuck, bro?
LOL! Now, 50 didn't actually do this, but the idea of him doing it quickly became a meme. And after that, we got the iconic Photoshop picture of 50 Cent sitting in the empty front row. And the incredible caption, "What a show! I mean, just fucking great. Do it again, my kid went to the restroom, lol." Clearly not seeing the funny side after this, Ja Rule clapped back at Petty 50, calling him a pathological liar and offering a reward to anybody with proof that 50 Cent had actually bought front row tickets to his show. You kinda missed the meme there, Ja. A month later, Ja Rule's trolling 50 Cent over his relationship relationship with Super Rat 6ix9ine, following that up a month later with an appearance on a talk show, saying that he's dropping back from the beef situation before pulling a full 360, dissing 50 Cent for being a bad dad, and saying that he is in the beef forever.
50 Cent really does watch the show. Did you think of anything that you would like to say to him?
Yeah, you know, here's the thing, right? We've been having this ongoing feud now for like, I don't know, it seems like 15 years, something like that. And I think it's time that we've grown past it. I am removing myself from the circus.
Say 3 nice things about 50 Cent, and I want to move on.
He's a bad father. He
I did.
He got like a big square like box head.
Oh, I thought.
And one more thing. What else could I say nice? He looks like his breath stinks all the time. We're sworn enemies forever.
I actually was like, oh wow, it's ending.
A few days later, 50 Cent came out on IG to say that he was so scared of Ja Rule, he's gonna flee to Texas.
I'm so afraid of Ja Rule, Jim Jones, and Freaky that I'm hiding out in Texas. Please, whatever you do, don't tell them I'm in San Antonio. Don't tell them I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Don't tell them, please, don't tell them, man, because there's just so much pressure on me right now. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid, man. Don't tell them I'm at Specs.
Now, Ja Rule's next diss towards 50 ended up occurring under probably the most strange circumstances possible. So around this time, there was a Popeye's chicken sandwich that was launched, which was apparently so viral, somebody got murdered for cutting in line to get the sandwich. This prompted Ja Rule...
Dang! I knew it was crazy, but bro, I remember when the Popeye's chicken sandwich came out, the craze was insane, bro. I think that was around the time I started driving too.
To lash out on Twitter,
I
saying that he will never eat the Popeye's chicken sandwich. Now, this strange decision to start out on Twitter.
Y'all really out here acting like niggas over a chicken sandwich? Shaking my head. Now I'm never gonna eat one on principle alone. Effing idiots. Y'all was wrong with our people. I'm so disappointed in my people. We better than this.
Twitter, saying that he will never eat the Popeye's chicken sandwich. Now, this strange decision to start a beef with a sandwich quickly led to Ja Rule getting duly clowned on Twitter, with many fans bringing up his devastating L to 50. Ja clapped back with another tweet reminding everybody that 50 Cent had got stabbed and shot. Yeah, we get it, Ja. But after that whack tweet, in Ja's defense, he actually took the rest of this ribbing quite lightly and ended his Twitter storm with some pretty good jokes. First off, saying that he's got to jump back in his Uber and get to work, and then agreeing with the fans who were siding with 50 Cent, saying, yeah, fuck Ja Rule too. See, now that's more like it, Ja. This beef was revived again in April 2020 when the trend of versus battles took off, as Ja Rule chimed in on a conversation between Fat Joe and Swizz Beatz, with the implication that he was down to do a versus battle against 50.
I want all the smoke, but I'll behave.
Man, that'll break the internet, Ja.
Yes, it will, nigga. It'll break the internet in a bad way. It's gonna be fucking broke for real.
Later, in response to a discussion of this musical battle, Ja Rule also tweeted that he thinks that he musically influenced 50 Cent. But 50 Cent clearly wasn't down for a battle unless it was going meme for meme, swiftly clowning Ja Rule on Twitter with a picture of a homeless Ja Rule and a cardboard sign saying that he will battle 50 Cent for attention. This led Ja Rule to clap back savagely on Twitter and Instagram with a clip of a rat and a long-ass caption calling out 50 for being scary and a snitch, as well as sharing paperwork that seemed to suggest that 50 Cent was an informant. Now, for the record, TMZ later came out to say that that paperwork's fake, but none of that matters because it was in June 2020 that things came full circle. First off, Ja Rule shared a clip of him performing at a fairly intimate private party surrounded by stunning beauties. Now, really, this was just a promotional post for Ja Rule's talent booking app Icon, with the implication that this show had been booked through Icon. And don't get it twisted, Icon's about to be the next GameStop, baby. Anyway, regardless of what was really going on in that clip, 50 chimed in to mock Ja, retweeting the clip with the caption, "If you don't want to end up doing private parties for 15 people, stay out of my way." And then after that, Ja Rule goes viral for this incredible commercial that he did for a gyro flogging Greek restaurant.
It make you wanna slap your mama. Pop Christo's got the best gyros. You ever ate in your life. So good. Make one think to you got to have Peters. Pop Christo Peters. They got everything. I'ma just give you a rundown of some of my favorites. They got tzatziki. Hold on. Octopi tequila. Well, whatever, but it's good. Abolamano soup. Carbo pizza.
and they got wine too. I'm telling you, come on down to Papa Cristo's. You can't even pronounce the food, it's so goddamn good.
Now, for the record, Ja Rule did this out as a freebie. He was trying to help out a local LA restaurant that was suffering due to the coronavirus shutdown, and this was actually all part of a TV show that Ja Rule was putting together at the time, where he used his celebrity to help out failing businesses, and I've got to say, actually looks pretty good.
Through a tough time right now, especially.
Hey, he was Keith Lee before Keith Lee.
Mom and pop shops. My heart goes out to these businesses. So today, I'm helping out Papa Cristo.
What the fuck was that back shot, bro? Why did they just start recording his back out of nowhere?
My heart goes out to these businesses. So today,
like, what is this, bro?
Especially mom and pop shops. My heart goes out to these businesses. So today,
like, what is this, bro?
Today, I'm helping out Papa Cristo. The spot's been around for 70 years. It's a staple in the community in Los Angeles. But like most of mom and pop shops in this year, he's had a tough year. So I'm gonna use my notoriety, my fame, to help him out. So Papa, you familiar with hip hop?
Hey, Papa, hey, where are you? Papa Cristo, are you here? Papa Cristo.
That's not hip hop. Well, you know what, Papa? I got your back, man. I wanted to do something special for you, Papa. I'm gonna put together a little something, a little commercial to help, you know, so people know about your spot a little bit more, man, and come in there and show Papa Cristo some love.
Regardless of the circumstances, however, of course 50 Cent was immediately there piling in with the savage burns, saying, "This is what happens when you fuck with me. I'll have you and your whole label selling gyros." And by the end of 2020, Gyro Rule was out here saying that 50 Cent don't want no smoke with him in a versus battle.
Like, if it's not gonna be 50 Cent, you know, that one makes the most sense. You would agree, right?
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think everybody...
Hey, listen, man, everybody don't want this smoke. Everybody don't want this smoke.
And that, friends, to this day, is as far as we've got with the never-ending Cold War between 50 Cent and Ja Rule. Both sides have their version of the story, and whilst 50 Cent is generally considered to have been the winner of this beef, it's really just important to remember that the 50 Ja Rule debacle is a story as old as time. There can only ever be one #1 in the rap game. Ja got his taste of it, he raised the bar for what was possible in his own way, and then 50 came along, raised that bar a little higher, and went a little further. Okay, a lot further. But ultimately, 50's day came too. The tide truly turned on 50 Cent's career when he went head-to-head with Kanye West in 2007, a clash which 50 ultimately lost. The time of a changing of the guard always comes in him.
That beef was a little different. 50 was like more willing to like give up the seat for Kanye. Man.